Hey there, Wargamers, Doug here from 2 Plus Tough, and do you know what the spirit song of the Sylvaneth needs? It needs some jazz flute, because if you thought that the Avengers was the most ambitious crossover of our time, boy have I got a surprise for you, because we have a model today that includes the Queen Elf Lady from Lord of the Rings, the jazz flute scene from Anchorman, and of course, the evil alien egg face hugger thing birthing from the movie Alien. Those jokes aside, Games Workshop has released a really cool looking model for the Sylvaneth, and so what we're going to do in this video is just pan over to the shared screen and take a good look at it. And so here we are, just meet the musicians who bring life to the mortal realms is today's article. I'm not going to play this because it'll blow your eardrums out. Go ahead and check out their video, their little preview video, it's cool. Now, just when you thought the mortal realms had reached the pinnacle of strangeness, which, you know, we've seen this year, what, stone bull dudes from the Lumineth, kangaroo riders, lots of stuff going on. Along comes a floating tree spirit with a magical war flute. All right. The upheaval caused by the events of the Broken Realms saga, which you can see all the videos for here in the Broken Realms playlist, Alariel has been hard at work scouring Guiran, the Realm of Life, from the Taint of Chaos. Now, this is something we've known for quite a while. She opened the All Gate to allow forces to go into the 8 points, that kind of stuff. She's been busy, in the background always, but she has been doing things. When the Everqueen sings a song of cleansing at the Oak of Ages Past, something entirely new springs from the roots. And we have here, I actually have a better picture here kind of blown up, and we're just going to take it in here. So as you can see at the top, we have some of those sprites bursting forth from their little egg sacs. This elaborate, I guess headdress, backpack, trophy rack, I'm not quite sure, what to call it, but ornament on its back. It almost looks like wings with the way that these antler type things or roots are sprouting forth. Covered in gems, we have what looks like a spite revenant, no, not a spite revenant, but you know what I mean. The other alternate version of that kit with this incredibly long flute that he's playing. I love it. And of course it fits into that aesthetic by having like an ethereal top half and then sort of the oaken wood that's turning into panels, and it looks, honestly, it kind of looks like Megatron's legs from Transformers the movie. But you know what I mean. And also this cloak, I will say, is my favorite thing that Games Workshop has done with fabrics before. Like, normally when we see these kinds of models, sure, there's like a human skin or something like that all sewn together. But the way that the leaves kind of come together to make that billowing cloak, I absolutely love. I gotta say, I love it. It's just absolutely beautiful. And down below we have a burst of life. My assumption is this creature bringing forth life magic wherever it goes. Now I'm curious at the bottom here. This looks like it could be the eye socket for a skull. It's kind of hard to tell with the vines kind of in the way, but it could absolutely be like a fallen enemy or something like that down below. So let's go back to the article here. Floating on thermals of sheer magic, Warsong Revenants play a spirit song which is the power to cause the land itself to come alive. Their music is a balm to the Sylvaneth and the promise of vengeance to their enemies. The Warsong Revenants can even summon malicious swarms of spites to attack enemies nearby. So, just looking at this guy, based on his size, like that we know from Spite Revenants and that kind of thing, I could see a 60 mil base, probably something like that. He might be a really great buff piece. I would love it, honestly. Here's just based on that description what I would love. What if you were in an area of him, meaning the area in which you can hear his song, the flute that he's playing, you get the bonuses of being near Sylvaneth terrain. The idea that he brings the living wood with him to give those buffs around, and so in that way kind of divorcing Sylvaneth from being so intrinsically tied to the Wildwoods, which is something, honestly, that's just me spitballing. It's what I'd like to see based on that fluff description, because the thing that has kept me from playing Sylvaneth for so long is I refuse to buy that many Wildwoods. I don't, not just the buying of them, I don't mind that, I don't mind the painting of them, but I don't want to bring them to events. It's so cumbersome to have a table on top of an army that you have to bring everywhere. So that's always been my limiting factor, why I don't play Sylvaneth. I've wanted to many times, but I just can't justify it. Like, I'm gonna get so tired of this really quickly. So again, that's a fever dream. It's what I want to see, but the idea, you know, it would fit, right? He's bringing life with him wherever, whatever ground the music is playing on can be counted as. Then we go, the elegant model is covered in details that will delight painters of every skill level. I could see that. Including a variety of textures like wood, leaves, skin, and finely wrought metal to experiment with, which I do like. I mean, honestly, in terms of modeling, he doesn't look very, how do I say, he doesn't look like he's gonna wiggle a lot. You know, if you've built the Mortar kit, those guys get a little bouncy, a little springy. But I could definitely see with these big, thick antlers, it looks like, or trunk growths coming out of the ground onto the leaf thing. I could see this being very stable, which is fantastic for a new painter. I could absolutely see learning new skills and techniques. I mean, just learning blending on this leaf cloak that he has, going from darker to brighter, I think would be a wonderful way. It's just a big, open slab to learn on, and I do think that that's actually a valid, like, thing to call out on a model of like, hey, this is one that you can really learn different skills on. So I like that quite a bit. Obviously lots of blending with the brush here. I don't know, I just dig it. Now I will say, looking at this guy, I cannot wait for the people who paint their Sylvaneth in like an autumn scheme where this is going to be like orange, you know what I mean? And I could even see like purple lashing vine whips coming out of the ground. I just think it has so much potential to be an incredibly cool looking model. We'll scroll down here. They have some pictures, some close-ups of the other parts here, giving you a good shot of the flute itself, a little bit of Yaz flute, and then we have obviously the forest sprite bursting forth, and this is their attack, I guess their weapon. I wouldn't mind. I'm trying to think of like what I want this to be, right? Like, what would get me excited about Sylvaneth, like really intensely? And then they basically just say, hey, it's not gonna be out for a while, get a Sylvaneth Star Collecting box. So let's just have a chat about what I would like this to be. I already mentioned before, the reason I don't get into Sylvaneth is because of the terrain. It's all tied to the terrain, all their special abilities and that kind of stuff, which I don't like. But the idea that we have this model that fluff-wise is bringing the spirit song with it, you know, and bringing life magic underneath its feet. I would love it if there was a, you know, units wholly within, I don't know, 8, 12 inches. I don't really care, but they get the benefits of being within an Awakened Wildwood. I think that would be a fantastic addition to the Sylvaneth roster. As far as the sprites on its back that can act sort of like an attack, it said, right? Because what is it? They can summon malicious swarms of spites to attack nearby enemies. I could definitely see that almost being sort of like the magical rod that a Lord of Change has, where it's like, it's a lot of attacks, but they're not really great. It's kind of like a Gatling gun type thing, where, you know, they don't pierce a whole lot. There's probably going to be like, you know, even if it was, frankly, 2d6 attacks on a 4-up, like, whatever, you know what I mean? As long as it's doing the things that the hero needs to do, of like bringing buffs to the army. Hopefully it has something special for Tree Revenants. I don't know why I keep getting those two mixed up in my head, I apologize. I would love it if that became like a very specific section of the army, because right now there's Sylvaneth with total, right, and everything, and then kind of the outcast section of Dryka and the Spite Revenants on one side. Then you have the Tree Revenants, but there's not really like anything that leads them, right? Spite Revenants have Dryka. This would be a really cool addition to make the Tree Revenants have a character as well. So anyway, friends, I love it. I think, honestly, this is the kind of model that gets me excited for Sylvaneth. Again, for me personally, the terrain is the biggest hindrance, and this fluff-wise sounds like it might address it. Again, don't bank your hopes on it. I'm certainly not going to. If it comes out and it's just like, +1 to attack for all Tree Revenants in 3 inches, you know, whatever, I don't care. I'm not going to pick up the army. But the truth is, like, it's a fantastic model, and I do think it has some merit for learning how to paint different things. Honestly, this would be a great one to experiment with everything in terms of contrast and blending and different kinds of brushes, because there's all different levels of detail on here. I really think it's a slam dunk. But friends, I would like to know your thoughts. Tell me, what would you like? Again, we're all just wish listing here. What would you like this model to do for the Sylvaneth army? Do you see it in any battalions or anything like that? I'm kind of curious as to how it's going to be kind of brought into what GW already has going on in terms of the Broken Realm series, if it's involved with that at all. Nothing specifically says it is. It could just be a model, you know, and in which case, that'd be cool too. So let me know in the comments down below what you would like this to be, and I will catch you there. Thank you so much for watching. Happy wargaming.